Hi, welcome to Garden Wise. I'm local landscape architect Billy Goodnick, and we're here at the beautiful Santa Barbara Botanic Gardens. One of the things we're talking about today is color. I'm surrounded by it. Also mulch, great for your garden. Gophers, not so great for your garden. How your garden has an impact on how you sell your home. And then we're going to wrap up talking about irrigation and rebates. Hi, I'm at Terra Sol Garden. It's a beautiful day. We're out here off of Patterson, and we're going to talk about color. It's everybody's favorite subject when it comes to gardening. Color Scheme 101. I take three approaches to color. One is to create a polychromatic or many-color color scheme. Just choose a little bit of whatever floats your boat. One thing to keep in mind is balancing the intensity of the colors. A second idea is a contrasting or complementary color scheme. That's where you take color from opposite poles. So you might grab from here and here, that's your highest contrast. From here and here, that's high contrast. The third approach is harmonious, colors that are adjacent to each other on the color wheel. Staying within that range of color is going to create a calmer, simpler color scheme, and for a lot of people that's where you find the most success, is to just narrow your view a little bit and work with just a few colors. So let's say you're wandering through these beautiful benches of color and you find this gorgeous Nemesia here. So maybe we pick up a few of these, but we want some contrast. We want to build off of this. We get contrast by going to the opposite side of the color wheel. Oranges and those sort of things are complemented by purple. You want to really amp this up, put it near white. So anytime you put white or silver or gray near a color, it's going to amplify the color that's with it. There's the idea of a harmonious color scheme where you take a few colors that are adjacent to each other on the color wheel. So I can bring in some yellow, and you can see how these two warm colors start getting really animated. Something else to think about is the saturation of the color. This is very, very yellow. You would still call this yellow, but it's a very pale yellow. Same thing going on here. Now we have two different plants, two very different visual textures, but they're both very intense. So this is considered high chroma or high saturation. Now I'm going to juggle all of these at once. They're all going to be in the air, except I don't know how to juggle. Let's just show you kind of a snapshot, a little section of what happens when we put a few different things together. When I'm talking about color, we're talking about the hue, and that's like the color that's unadulterated. There's another way of looking at it, which is where you take a particular color, the hue, and you modify it a little bit in either direction. Here's our hue. This is red. When we add white to any color, we end up getting the tint of it. Pink is considered the tint of the hue red. And when we add black to the hue red, we end up with burgundy, maroon. So here we see three just kind of general modifications on the color red. We've got the hue, we've got the shade, and we've got the tint of red. There's other ways to work this idea. Let's call this our hue of blue. So here's how it works on blue. Here's how it works moving a little bit more toward a purple or lavender color. So I'm going to stay in this narrow section of the color wheel, the bluish colors. Here's another form of violet, and this is more of a pale or sky blue. So we've got the same form, but it's expressed in two different ways. Or you can switch it up. Now this is moving a little bit more toward kind of a purple or lavender color, but you can see we're still playing in a very narrow range on the color wheel, but we're starting to change the visual texture too. Smaller flowers, larger flowers. These will grow a little more upright. This will be more of a ground cover. It doesn't just have to be flowers. We can do it with other things. These are two types of ornamental kale. If you want an edible garden that kind of looks like flowers, this is one way to go. I could see these used as an edging coming up a walkway or in a really prominent flower pot arrangement. You can do the same thing with foliage. What if we focus in and we just work with a range of greens? Foliage-wise, this is a dark, glossy green, and this is kind of a medium green. Now let's amp it up a little bit, bringing in a yellow green, so we're shifting on the color wheel. toward yellow, and we get a really bright sort of highlight. And then if you want to take this a step further, look for a plant with variegation. So in this case, it's a green leaf with highlights of kind of golden and yellow. And let's take it one step further. I'm going to take my green and I'm going to add this form of licorice plant. So these are all greens that we can use in the garden to create contrast without flowers, because flowers are fleeting and your garden will look interesting if you just rely on foliage as the foundation for it. So the same principle we're using talking about color with flowers and foliage also applies to succulents. Very low water using. These are almost identical in terms of foliage color, but look at the difference in terms of the foliage structure. Having a few of these next to a few of these, very, very subtle shift, but there's still like this tapestry going on between the different visual textures that you're getting. We can do it with inert materials too. You can even use the little accents, the flower pots you put in your garden. Bring them into the color scheme and use them the same way as you would interior design. You can have fun with color, even using accessories. I hope you learned a little something about color that you can use in your own garden. Now we're going to talk about how curb appeal and sprucing up your garden might help you sell your house. Hi, I'm here with David Magid from Village Properties, and we're talking about selling your house and what the front yard and first impression might do for that sale. David, thank you for being here. I'm under the impression that on open house day, somebody's out looking for a new place. They've got a list of plenty of places to look at, and you get about a nanosecond as they make the decision whether to tap the brakes, pull over, and come inside. Is there something to that?
Absolutely. First impression is everything. So coming up to a home where the front yard is inviting and landscaped beautifully and full of love is going to make those buyers want to come in and see more of the house. Opposed to seeing a blank slate, dirt patches, no love given to the front yard. It might just have them turn around and say, I'm expecting the same in the interior and no point to stop. First impression is everything, because if you can't get them in the house, then no sale.
Any other thoughts about what people should be doing?
Every home that we sell here in Santa Barbara County is very unique. Sometimes it comes with a completely blank slate, and sometimes it comes with family members that have been there for 40 years. Minimally, you're going to want to do some mulch and get some colored plants and have your gardener kind of set that up so it's nice and pretty and presentable. But somebody that's already had something established in their yard, the name of the game is cleanup. Yeah. You're going to just want to make sure everything is perfectly manicured, almost like it's a storybook home. And price point is also important. You don't want to completely blow your budget on the landscaping.
Right.
It is an investment for a reason. So you don't want to go over that threshold and then you're not getting any return back. Talk to your landscaper, talk to your gardener, but create a plan. Get ahead of it. Don't just wing it and pretend like you know what you're doing.
Or wait till the last minute.
Or wait till the last minute, because you can really tell. Without knowing any information, I could tell you right away, oh, they just did this a week ago, right, or this was planned ahead with a lot of care and love. And I think a lot of everyday buyers can see that as well.
We've been talking about what to put into the landscape, but one caution I want to add is sometimes it makes more sense to subtract and to simplify. If your garden is the result of 30 years of impulse buying and stick a little something everywhere, sometimes it makes a lot more sense to take out things, leave a little airspace, and just make it real simple to look at. David, thank you so much for your time. Lots of great ideas about improving your curb appeal, but what can hurt your curb appeal is gopher holes in your front yard. So unless you're Bill Murray in Caddyshack and you can get your hands on some C4 explosives, you're going to want to pay attention to what's coming up. I'm at La Mesa Park in beautiful Santa Barbara, and I'm here with Simon Herrera, who's the park manager for City of Santa Barbara Parks, and we're here to talk about everybody's cutest little garden friend, the gopher. So what do you find interesting about gophers?
Well, they're very smart. They're very, very smart. And another thing is that they're called pocket gophers.
Pocket gophers?
Yes, they have some pockets on their cheeks.
What's the big deal?
Well, they'll eat your plants. They'll destroy your lawn. It'll be uneven. They do create erosion. They also chew through your wires, through your drip line, especially in the summer. They're thirsty, so they're looking for water, so they're going to go through your drip irrigation. And next thing you know, your water savings is no longer there. You're going to be wasting a lot of water.
So we're going to talk about prevention. How do we prevent plants, lawns, and things from getting munched on in the first place. So what do we do with lawns?
Well, with lawns, we typically remove about 3 to 4 inches from the soil surface and then come in with hardware wire and then bring the soil back in to prevent the gophers from coming through your turf.
Individual plants, I'm digging a hole. I bought some plants at the nursery. I'm putting them in. I don't want the gophers to get to them.
We use these baskets every time you plant in a planter.
So the container goes in here,
Correct.
Loosen up the soil a little bit,
Correct.
Set it in,
Right.
backfill. So let's talk a little bit about management. One of the misunderstandings a lot of people have is actually knowing where the active gopher run is. Where is the tunnel? Because we see a mound of soil. Is that it?
No, you go about 10 to 12 inches away from the mound of soil. And if you start probing in that area, you'll find the tunnel. The tunnel is used all day for the transportation from place to place all day, and that's where you place your trap.
Okay, what are the types of traps we can set once we know where the active tunnel is?
This is a gopher dater. A lot of people prefer to use the Maccabees, this type of trap, because this shiny plate, once it's in the dark in the tunnel, when the gopher sees something bright and underneath, they think it's their hole that's left open, and they want to cover it. They don't want a snake coming through or coming in. So when they see this reflection, they're coming in at top speed at this point to try to plug their hole, and that's when they hit this. Let's say he just got clipped or something.
Yeah.
If he'll remember that smell. He will not come near a trap again. That's why it's important to put some dirt on your hand and your trap.
And to think like a gopher.
Right.
Okay, so these are two of the simpler ones. They're going
Right.
in the run, and you might want two of them facing in either direction.
One in each
because
direction.
we don't know where they're coming from. Behold the gopher hawk. What do we use this for?
So this is used for 2 reasons. One is where you find the mound of dirt.
Right.
With this, you start poking to see which direction the tunnel is going. Once you identify which direction it's going, you go about 10 to 12 inches, and you start probing. And wherever you find your tunnel, wherever it sinks in easier, that's your tunnel. And then at that point, you'll use this here. And with this, you'll go in the hole where you found the tunnel,
Right.
and you push it down about 6 to 8 inches. Then this goes right into the hole that you created with
Right.
that. Now you put it in. Once you reach the bottom, you don't push down while you're pulling up.
Right.
You reach the bottom. Now you hold this, but you're pulling up on the bottom part.
And that exposes the noose.
That exposes the noose.
And don't move, don't move. That's the trigger,
That's the
right? When the
trigger.
gopher hits that. So this is sitting on the bottom of the hole,
Right.
The bottom of the tunnel. This is here. When they trip that, this pops up.
It just, yep.
You're going to find things other than traps at your garden supply store or hardware store. There's fumigation using some sort of toxic gas or that sort of thing. I'm guessing we don't use those at parks. Would you use them at home?
They're not recommended to be used around any structure. And your home, it's right next to your garden, so I would not use them.
What about baits, things like strychnine and all that you'll see on the active ingredients?
Yeah, we don't use them in parks. We don't want any secondary kill.
Yeah, you've got birds, you've got other beneficial things that are
Right.
rooting around in the soil. Some people think you just put a hose down there and you'll flood them out.
That's another no-no, because when you do try to flood them out, you're just making the tunnel bigger. So when the soil sinks, now you're going to have a bigger rut and a bigger trip hazard.
The other thing is, if it's out of control, if it's not something you want to deal with, there are certified professional licensed pesticide people, and have somebody who knows what they're doing come in, get rid of the gophers in the first place. And the last thing is, even if you do get rid of them, you've got to stay vigilant, right? So while you're walking around, take a stroll every day or two and look for these signs. Look a little underneath the shrubs and things, because sometimes they're not always out there and obvious where that mound of soil is. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Isn't it great to know our parks people are keeping our kids from falling down into gopher sinkholes? Next up, we're going to talk about mulch, ground up wood. It goes all over the garden and it does fabulous things. It's like magic. Stay tuned. I am at the luxurious yard of Agrichip. We're down just south of the freeway, kind of industrial area. I'm here with Art Gonzales. Why mulch? Why does anybody need to or want to put mulch in their gardens?
Well, for starters, the most basic reasons is to keep weeds down, keep moisture in the soil, and it also is beneficial to the soil over a period of time. As it breaks down, it could incorporate into the soil and make your soil better. Our black bark, since it's super fibrous, will adhere to itself and hold the slopes and can hold a tremendous amount of water to prevent erosion.
So I walk into a garden shop, big box, that sort of thing, and there are bags of mulch. What makes Agrichip, what you're doing, different than some of those things I could buy on a retail level?
We are private processing company, so we can accept materials that we want to process.
So it's all coming from local sources?
It's all coming from local sources. Our tree trimmings is the purest form of green waste you're going to find. So we like to start with that. From there, we do a first grind, which is a larger product in size. Then we do a second grind, which is behind us here, our black bark, down to a 2-inch. So the difference is that we really control what we bring in and what we process and how we process it.
Got it. So I am here at the foot of Mount Mulch. This is the stuff that Agrichip puts out, and this has been processed. This is the sort of stuff you would use in and around your landscape. It's got a pretty refined look, so it's not chunky or that sort of thing. There are other mulch sources, some of it free from the county waste recycling. There's Marburg has free stuff. So there are free sources, but this is where you really get the best of what you're looking for.
Depending on how thick you put the material down, not always more is better, but if you put it down continuously through the years, it is going to incorporate in the soil and make your soil better.
Putting down mulch, letting some of the leaves stay in place. That's why we call them leaves. You're supposed to leave them there. And even cultivating them into the soil is really the best thing you can do for your garden.
We recommend you keep it away from the crowns of the plants, especially some of the natives.
So just keep an eye on it. Don't just walk away from it and say, I'm done with it. Move it back every once in a while, see how the soil's looking. Art, thank you for your time. The Botanic Garden is not only proud of their beautiful mulch, but also their highly trained garden staff. And if you want a highly trained gardener in your garden, look no further than the Green Gardener program.
So the Green Gardener program is a nature-friendly approach that emphasizes support for natural systems and supporting healthy plant growth, and it minimizes the use of poisonous chemicals and pesticides. Plants are given the room and the space to grow naturally to their maturity, meaning there's less green waste accumulated and less trash, less water use because people are being more efficient with their water. That helps the community at large. And so this is a non-credit program run through the School of Extended Learning with the Santa Barbara City College. It's usually offered once a week, so it's about, I want to say 40 or 50 hours total. So when you come out of the class, if you're a homeowner, you'll be able to direct your landscaper to do the things that you feel are important to be done if they're missing those. So here's some 3 tips. Number 1, see what you can do to turn your green waste created in your kitchen. That's your, your coffee filters, coffee grounds, rotten fruit that you forgot to eat, into compost. Number 2, don't leave your ground barren. Wherever you have open soil, put mulch on it. You can get county mulch for free, keep it covered. Number 3, make sure that you are checking your watering system so that you're not wasting water unnecessarily. And recognize that plants don't need ongoing water. I mean, they need ongoing water, but they don't drink like us every day, all the time. They need breaks. Recognizing that and tuning into that is going to help you not only save money on your water bill, but you're going to help everybody, save money on a limited resource. And that's a positive thing. So those are 3 easy things that people can do.
Thinking about upgrading your irrigation system? Contemplating murdering your lawn? Want to use somebody else's money? Rebates.
Hi, I'm Cristina Castro with the County of Santa Barbara, and I'm here to talk to you about countywide rebates for homeowners and businesses. Water-wise lawn rebates are designed to help residents, businesses, and organizations replace their thirsty lawns with more resilient, drought-tolerant landscaping. You get your money back for removing traditional turf and installing something that's better for your environment and your water bill, and also has reduced maintenance. So why should you apply? Well, for one, it's a chance to get financial help for making water efficient upgrades. For organizations as well as businesses and other institutions, it will help to get ahead of California's ban on irrigating non-functional turf that's rolling out in 2027. To apply, go to waterwisesb.org and act now while funds are available. We can all do our part to conserve water.
Well, that's just about it for GardenWise. Couple more pieces of business. If you want to watch our past episodes, they're all at our YouTube channel. Also, if you have any burning questions or topics you want us to cover, just write to us and we'll see what we can do. So that's about it. I'm Billy Goodnick. Thanks for watching GardenWise, and we'll see you on the next one.